Today's section is called Best Buddies. Illustrates the interdependence upon things out in nature. And so I'm going to show you some examples of what I call best buddies. This is the cardinal. And the cardinal in the spring has a best buddy of the grapevine, because in the spring, when the cardinal's out looking for nesting materials, it goes to the woods, finds a grapevine, peels that loose bark off the grapevine, and uses that to build its nest. So that's how the cardinal and the grapevine pair up. Now, another important bird that you're familiar with is the hummingbird. And the hummingbird comes back to our area the first week of May, and then it starts looking for nesting materials about the first week of June. It finds nesting materials from different plants, and one of the seeds that it uses is the soft seed from the cottonwood tree. The hummingbird has to, once it gets enough nesting materials, has to have some way to bind all this nesting material together to make a nest, also to make sure it is bound to that tree branch so the nest doesn't fall off. One of its best buddies is the spider. The spider web silk provides the glue that the hummingbird needs to hold its nest together and to hold it on the tree. Another best buddy of the hummingbird is this bird right here called the sapsucker. And the sapsucker has a best buddy of the maple tree. The maple tree has special sap that attracts the hummingbird and the sapsucker, but the hummingbird can't get to that sap unless the sapsucker makes the holes in the tree. If you are out at Blackhawk and you happen to find a tree with holes in a neat row, that tells you the sapsucker's been there. This is a little animal that lives in the woods. It's called a deer mouse because it has fur like a deer, lives in the woods like a deer. One of its best buddies is the red-winged blackbird. Red-winged blackbird likes to build its nest around the water where there are cattails. When the deer mouse is looking for a winter home, it climbs up this abandoned red-winged blackbird nest, and then it's not through yet. It takes the seeds from the cattail and uses those to line the nest of the abandoned red-winged blackbird nest for the winter home. This animal spends the whole winter hibernating, and this is the groundhog. It digs a hole in the ground and hibernates in there. Then in the spring, when the groundhog is done hibernating, it comes out of the hole and it doesn't fill in that hole. It leaves that abandoned burrow. In the fall, when other animals like the skunk are looking for a winter den, that abandoned groundhog hole becomes the den for the winter for the skunk. So the groundhog and the skunk are best buddies. This bird has a lot of best buddies because this bird, the blue jay, when it spots danger, it sits up on the top tree branch, and if it spots danger, all of a sudden you hear fee, fee, fee. That's this bird, blue jay's warning call. So when the other birds that are out there just minding their own business, not paying attention, hear the blue jay's warning call, they are alerted to danger and they can fly away. This is called the flying squirrel. And the flying squirrel needs a tree cavity to nest in, to spend the winter in. So its best buddy is the woodpecker, because the woodpecker makes these holes for their home for the spring, and then they'll abandon those, and then the flying squirrel will get in the abandoned woodpecker holes for its winter home. The Oriole builds a basket-like nest, and it builds this nest at the end of the tree branch. So the Oriole's best buddy is the cottonwood tree, because it uses some of those cottonwood seeds to put in the nest around the eggs, so when the wind starts blowing hard, those eggs don't bump against each other and have scrambled eggs. So the cottonwood seeds protect the eggs from breaking. Thank you for watching, and be sure and follow us on our Blackhawk State Historic Site website and Facebook. You can keep up to date with all the things that are happening. And really, we'd like to extend an invitation for you to come and visit us firsthand. Just explore nature and be a part of it and take advantage of this fantastic wonder of the Quad Cities.